So what does it mean to be a simp, Soren?
In my opinion, I think being a simp means
wait, am I even in frame? Fuck. Shit. I don't think I'm even in frame.
So, in my opinion, I think being a simp has to do with I do agree with Novin when I say like that word kind of sucks. Because people be tossing it around for no reason these days, but
yeah,
I think you're a simp when you clearly like this girl's clearly uninterested in you, and you're just not smart enough or socially like apt enough to see that she's throwing all these signs at you, and she's only in it for like if you're tossing bills at her, you know what I mean? I think you're simping if you're spending your money on this girl like weirdly, like y'all just started talking, it could be like months, and y'all have never smashed, you know what I mean? And you're buying her dinner and shit, or like bags or like clothes or anything like that, and if you're spending like your hard-earned time and money on her, and she's clearly not reciprocating with what you want, and that's like a relationship, intimacy, or whatever, I think you're being a simp. And I think you're not being a simp.
Yeah, I agree.
There's a difference. People say like, oh, you're being nice to her, you're simping. I don't think being like nice to her is
Fact,
simping.
I think that's the problem with that word, is that people throw it out like way too soon when they meet a girl or whatever, and they'll just throw that, oh bro, you're like, they meet a girl, you're like acting like a gentleman to her, acting nice, whatever, and then right off the bat, you know, some people might call you a simp, but I agree with you that that's like where the misconception of that word begins,
Right.
is when, you know, you toss it around too soon, because a simp only happens when you are still trying to chase her, when she like essentially doesn't want to be chased,
Right.
and when you see that, then it's like, yeah, why are you simping? Be like, why? Essentially, like, why are you chasing after her, right?
Yeah.
And you can't really make that judgment right off the bat when you first meet someone.
And I think
That's where most people like mess up when they like use the word simp.
And I think a better way to look at like simping in general is like, again, what I said before is not picking up on these social cues. Like girls are very obvious when they're like interested in a guy. You can just tell by like body posture, the tonality of their voice, word choice, like all that shit. You know what I mean? Like, you know when a girl's into you. And I think most people in our generation just haven't put themselves in enough situations to where they have like a good base of saying like, all right, I've talked to people, you know what I mean? Like, obviously people have pasts and shit. Like, you've talked to enough girls to where you know when a girl's into you, and you know when a girl is just going out with her girlfriends, or she's just going out and maybe she just wants to have a couple of drinks at the bar, and like that's all it is. Like, you guys, I'm not saying you have to buy her drinks, like it's up to you. I mean, play your bankroll. It's like betting, you know what I mean? Like all the top gamblers in the world, they say play by your bankroll. And I think that your game as a man or a woman, honestly, you got to play by your bankroll. You know what I mean?
Well, it's also, I like that analogy. And another analogy, it's like, don't invest your time into something that if you're not going to get any return out of it. Like, if you're seeing no return, like, fucking sell us.
Yeah, like, sell, bro.
So, yeah, and dip out of that shit.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You know, why are you staying that longer when it's just like, dipping, like literally dipping.
Just walk away, dude. You don't even have to like end the conversation cordially. Like, you can just be like, all right, I'm gonna go fuck off over there. You just literally just like, I'm gonna go back to my friends. You're not about this. That's cool.
You don't even need to say, you don't have to say nothing, because it's not, I mean, that
you just
brings
met this
back
bitch
to like a situationship from last time.
Dude, it's not even situationship. We're talking about like cold approaching females. You know
cold
what I mean?
approaching?
Yeah, like we were watching another podcast. We're not even gonna name the podcast.
Yeah.
But basically what was going on is like, we're talking about like high value males, like, and how they can use their assets to their advantage as like their power. And they said power and the power of attraction that they can portray out to females.
Yeah.
And I think that if you're not playing by your bankroll and you're like putting all this extra effort in, and I'm talking about like buying like all these jewelry, all these
like,
chains.
are you talking about do shit that you can actually afford?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like
don't,
if you're honestly pulling in like 6 figures a year, like 1 or 2 drinks at the bar really doesn't mean shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, if you was like, yeah, I'll buy you a drink, that's not simping.
Right.
I don't think that's simping. And I think even if you're like a broke college student, like one drink for this girl,
Yeah.
I don't think that's really simping. I think you could buy her a drink and you could just talk.
Yo, that's no. I don't think people call that simping. I would say simping like happens after like the
initial
first
approach,
initial interaction, like you text her right away, or you try to like find her on socials right away type shit. Like you're almost like mentally obsessed with her, like because you just like can't stop thinking about just like that first initial conversation because you think it was like a great conversation, so you're like dying to find out,
who she is, where she at, like who's she talking to. Yeah. I think that's a great point. Like I think you're definitely simping if you're going in after hours type shit. Markets are closed. To make some other analogies, you're putting too much work in the after hours. You gotta let it play out for itself. You know what I mean? There's nothing really you can do at that time that can better that situation. Like you said what you had to say, she said what she had to say. I mean, wait a little bit, text her whenever, like she can text you. And if nothing really happens for it, don't be chasing that. You know what I mean? Don't be saying like, hey, what are you doing? Like, you trying to hang out? Like, and I think
that's if you even get a number,
Yeah, but like I feel like everyone's like, I think everybody has definitely gotten the number and they've texted them and like they just didn't get the response that they were expecting. But you gotta be socially smart enough to realize like what she responds. Like you'd be able to dissect that, vet that, and be like, all right, clearly this isn't going the direction that I intended. You know what I mean? So that's when you walk away. But if you keep going back, even though you vetted it and like deep down this isn't the response you were looking for, these aren't the returns you were expecting, and you go back again, investing more of your time, that's simping.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
That's 100% simping.
So we can conclude that like there's levels where
there's levels to this shit.
Yeah. Like
if you're rich, like sure, like we were watching these other people, like if you got a fucking boat and you invite bitches onto your boat, that's not simping, bro. You got a fucking boat, bro. You're gonna invite people onto your fucking boat, right? Yeah. If I had a fucking boat, I'd be like, yeah, come on my fucking boat. Why not? Exactly. But if you don't own that boat and you're renting it out for the sole purpose of trying to attract females, you're simping, bro. Like you're not playing by your bankroll right there.
Yeah. Do you think so? Do you think simping applies to like multiple females? Like you can just simp for like wanting a girlfriend. It's like, yo, you're simping heavy for a girl right now, like, cause like some people just can't handle being single, and so therefore they're like simping to like just find anyone. Do you think that like
dude,
that plays into it?
I have like the perfect analogy. I mean, I guess I got the perfect life lesson for people. Are you playing as the main character? Are you playing as the friend role? And I'm talking about like most like movies or novels. There's always this person that's the main character and they get the girl. Are you playing the friend role? Like you're never gonna get this girl because you're playing the friend. Right. Or you're playing like this. You're playing like this.
Well, that's why I don't even have any female friends to begin with.
You shouldn't, bro. I don't think you should. I mean, and if you do,
very few.
Yeah.
And it's not even friendships that were developed out of my doings. They were kind of they just happen. They happen.
And they're like purely like platonic.
Yeah, platonic, and like along the way, like you're chill, whatever. But
Yeah, you guys aren't. It's very obvious that you guys aren't pursuing something more intimate. Yeah, right. Exactly. Like you guys, that's different though. That's like a friend circle.
Yeah.
That's in the same circle.
Facts.
I mean, I think to what I was saying is like, if you're playing like this, you're overly available and like you're always responding and shit. You know what I mean? And you're playing this like friend role. I don't think you're ever gonna get to where you need to go. And I think you have to realize that. Like, think about yourself in the third person. That's the best way to check where you're at in life. And it's hard for some people and it's hard for most people. But you gotta drop that ego, that like level of ego that everyone has, and you have to like look at yourself from like a third person. Like you're not even like your boys are looking at you. Like if you didn't know you and you were looking at the shit you were doing, you're like, damn, this is like some secondary role shit, like in a novel or like a movie. Like you're the supporting character. If you're not playing that main character role, I can guarantee you're not going to get the results you want.
Yeah.
That's simping, bro. That's 100% simping.
Because you're just waiting for your time. You're waiting for your moment. That's like most likely never gonna happen.
Yeah, dude. The main character fucking sets that shit in motion, and he knows what's gonna happen, or she knows what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
You get what I'm saying?
dude. It's like, how do men even like get themselves involved in that situation where they're like, they're the guy that like she goes to complain about her boyfriend or whatever, but
Alright,
but
I
she
know-
doesn't. But she doesn't like hook up with him. So, like,
Bro, I watched a movie. Bro. This sounds like corny as fuck because like, oh, he got it from a fucking movie, but this movie was kind of like perfect for that.
dude,
It was
movies
called,
all speak truths, bro.
yeah, it was called The Holiday or some. She's got like Jack Black or some shit. I watched it with my girl, so don't hate on me, by the way. Yeah. I watched that with my girl, by the way, so y'all don't hate on me for that. But so basically that happens when you put this person like on a pedestal and they let you down consistently, but you think, you know what I mean? They give you these chances, you know what I mean? Like these little glimpses of hope where they're like, oh shit,
like you could do better.
no, like they're like they make it seem like you have a chance, and you're like, fuck, you know, you weren't expecting them.
Wait, you're talking about a girl to a guy?
Or this could happen vice versa, like a girl to a guy or a guy to a girl. Like you're in this situation where you know that they're seeing other people because you guys clearly aren't in a relationship
Right.
yet, but they give you these opportunities or like these little like moments where they're like, shit, like they're actually being really nice to me, and like they're playing into this narrative that I want to hear, like, oh, like I want to come see you, right? It's like,
Mhm.
oh shit, like you like let your guard down and you think that
Mhm.
you're finally gonna get to
Like,
be
I want to talk. Like, come, let's talk. Whatever.
yeah, let's go get a
like,
drink, like come
yeah.
over to my place.
Yeah, yeah.
And you like get all excited for
Mm.
that because you think finally this is your chance or
Yeah.
whatever. But realistically, they're just bitching about so and so. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And you know that their life, like you can just hear from like their trajectory that they're speaking of, like you're not included in that plan where you want to be. But then you almost kind of like forgive them for that because you're still so hopeful from that last little jolt of hope they gave you,
dude,
that you
that's
play into it.
holy fuck, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you're like just blind at that point,
Yeah.
by this girl because you don't, because or like this, hypothetically, this fucking Joe Schmo, right? This Joe Schmo is probably in love with this girl and is being blinded, and like all these red flags are just being thrown over his head because he doesn't see them. He doesn't see like what she's doing and what the position he's putting himself in,
Yeah, literally.
because he's so distracted and blinded by that hope that
Yeah,
like
exactly.
he might
you make
like,
excuses for that person.
that's real. That really is what being blinded is. Like,
That's what simping is. You make excuses.
You may that ties into that too. Like you see these red flags, but you make excuses that it's like not a big deal. Because you see like
Yeah.
all these other good things about them,
Exactly.
so you think like ignoring the red flags is like okay.
Yeah.
Almost.
You literally make excuses for them, and you're justifying that. You're justifying the behavior in that they are not reciprocating with your feelings and what you want, but you're almost saying like, oh shit, like that one time she called me over and like we sat together all night and all that
I don't
bullshit.
even think
you know
it's
what I mean?
that, dude. I just think, well, it does play into that, but yeah, I think those like good memories or whatever makes you think that like,
It's like a weird like, and it's hard for us to talk about that because like I think that Evan and I know for a fact I like myself like we don't let ourselves get in these situations.
Oh no, I mean,
100%
we have in the past, and we've learned
Yeah,
from
when
our
I'm fucking
mistakes.
younger,
Yeah,
dude. I'm like a fucking like
exactly.
17-year-old. I'm being retarded.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've had more recent encounters, but still, past is past.
I think that you just have. I mean, again, like I'm looking at myself. Like you have to like look at yourself like this. You have to give yourself more value than you think you should. Like you have to overvalue yourself. It's like
yeah, of course.
It's that analogy where like, you shoot for the stars, land on the moon.
Yeah.
But if you're only shooting for the moon, bro, you're gonna be stuck in space. You know what I mean? You're not even fucking halfway there.
Yeah.
So you might as well shoot for the stars and you'll land on the moon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I'm looking at myself from like this lead character role. I always say like, is this what a lead character would be up to right now? Is this
Mhm.
how like the plot or the narrative of like
Yeah.
my life is supposed to be?
Dude.
If it's not a lead character, bro, I'm like you said, I'm dipping, bro. I'm out.
Yo, and speaking of being a lead character, like, if you're a lead character, like if we're all lead characters in a movie, which we all should be.
Well, you fucking are, bro, because your own life is your own movie.
Yeah, exactly. You shouldn't have to rely on another person to fulfill your happiness.
Exactly.
If you're the star of your own movie, like the whole storyline is how you yourself like how you make yourself happy, essentially. Like what is the like growth journey you go to, like to get to the point where you can be totally fine on your own. You're the hero of your own movie regardless of who's in it, you know. Right. It's all about you at the end of the day. You're no one can do anything, nothing for you unless without you starting first, you know.
Yeah.
So it's
you
like
initiate all these
love
scenarios.
yourself. Like love yourself, like first and foremost, before you start looking for anyone else. And if you like, when you start looking for love, it should be like to the point where like, does my love for her match my love for myself? Almost, you know.
I mean, dude, like you can't love anybody else unless you love yourself.
Right.
But I don't even want to play into this like deep shit because it doesn't even have to be that deep. Like literally all I'm saying is like if you're literally just looking to fuck, you know what I mean? Or like you're just looking for a girl, you know what I mean? Like someone that you talk to consistently, y'all meet up. Just look for the flags, man. Like you got to vet this girl. You got to vet yourself, you know what I mean? Like check yourself before you check her. You got to understand what kind of state you're in. And I think guys have an easier time with this because I think we think more rationally as a whole. You know what I mean? Like girls play into emotions more. Like I think guys think rationally. Like we're like, all right, so basically we met at this place, the bar. Probably not that big of a deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think females play on emotions too much. Like, oh, like he made me feel this certain type of way. You know what I mean? He could be the one. And then they end up getting their heart broken or some shit like that because like they're over investing their emotions into this shit.
I mean, I think guys do the same thing as well, especially like younger guys. Like will like when they go out to bars, like all their objective is to like get a female, and then if they don't, it's like it's almost like a bad night for them. Like what the it's like fuck.
Yeah, and I think that's a problem, bro. If your goal is only to meet a female, like I don't think you should be going out, bro. Like I like personally go out not to meet females, but I personally go out because like I want to drink and I want to drink with my homies. I want to see the people like that are in my community. I'm trying to say what's up to people, have a good time. Yeah. Let loose, bro. Blow off steam. Like I'm not there for these like, bro. It's like such a third world, like small little. I mean, first world problem.
Yo,
like
I'm telling you
intimacy,
guys,
bro. Intimacy is overrated.
You guys will have such a better night when you don't think about what you're gonna do, who you're gonna do with, where you're gonna go. I mean, if you're the type of guy that like has friends that like hit you up, like you know, I do. Like no, most of the time, actually no, literally all of the fucking time, when it comes to Friday, Saturday nights, like I don't ever make the plans. People just end up hitting me up, and I'm like, okay, like sure, I'll go, and then like. You know,
the females are secondary, bro. Like that intimacy, like, bro, if it happens, it happens. It's like secondary shit.
I don't have time to think about all that bullshit, dude, regarding females. Like, dude, I know females are gonna be there. Hot females are gonna be there. If I meet one, I meet one. You know, if I run into people, whatever, like,
it is what it is.
It is what it is. You know, you don't gotta think too deep into it.
Regardless, though, I had a great night because I was with the people I wanted to be with. Like, again, like that circle I was trying to meet up with, blow off steam, just have a couple drinks, dude. Just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.